What is up, guys? Fadeaway82 coming at you with a quick look at the changes to the building in Rust, specifically in terms of how the walls take damage. Depends on which side of the wall you're hitting. So if it's an interior part of the wall, it's going to do more damage versus if it's an exterior part. Let's go ahead and test it out just on the twig material here. You guys all already know that the twig goes down pretty quick, but notice it's taking a lot more hits when we're hitting that exterior wall with the hatchet. If we go ahead and hit it from the inside, where the interior would be, it's gone in one hit. This holds true for all of the different types of the walls here. Let's go ahead and do a quick test on the wood as well. And you'll notice this is the interior part of the wall here. If we start hitting it with the hatchet, it's going down rather quickly. But if we move to the outer part of the wall and start hitting it with the hatchet, we'll notice it is not going down as quickly. So this is a big change for raiding, guys, especially if you're raiding with tools. It's going to hold the same on stone as well. This is an interior wall, even though it's facing out. But you'll notice we're chipping away nicely at it with the pickaxe at a very good rate. If we go over to the outer part of the wall, you'll notice it's taking a much longer time for it to even go down 1 point. I know it's hard to see, but it just dropped 1 point after several hits, whereas on the other side it was taking more consistent damage. When we make our way over to an armored tier, guys, it's going to be pretty much impenetrable with weapons. At this point, you're going to want to use C4. Now, if we start wailing on it with a pickaxe here, we'll see that it's barely taking any damage on this side. This is the exterior wall, even though it's facing inwards, and you can tell by the way that it looks. They've done some overhauls to the graphics, and you can tell very easily now what's inside versus what's outside. Moving over to what would be the interior side of the wall, notice, guys, we hit it once and it starts dropping points, and it's much more prone to taking damage when you're on the inside. So what this means is if you're on the inside of a base, you're still going to be able to use weapons to chip away at walls, but on the outside it's going to be much harder to melee raid bases. It's going to take a lot longer, and your tools are going to break a lot more. Walls haven't been the only item that has changed in terms of the way that damage is distributed. Doors have changed as well, with the exterior part of the door taking more damage than the interior part. So you want to be careful of how you place doors and walls. We're going to go ahead and we're going to hit this sheet metal door, which already has been hit a few times, but this would be the exterior part, and we'll notice it's 298 health now. We're starting to hit it with a hatchet, and it's taking quite a few hits before it even drops 1 point. It still hasn't dropped down from 298. We've hit it about 5 times. Let's go ahead and go on the inside, which would be the interior of this door, and you notice we'll start hitting it, and it's dropping immediately. It's already dropped down to 295 health from hitting it, about the same amount of times that we hit it on the other side. So big difference there, guys, and it's certainly something you want to be aware of, both for raiding purposes and for defending purposes. But it's not just melee weapons that have changed. C4 damage has changed as well, and C4 damage now does 1/2 of what it used to walls. So let's go ahead and test it out on an exterior wall for the armored tier, which is the highest building tier that we have in the game at this point in time. You guys will notice that in previous iterations of Rust, it took 3 charges of C4 to get through a wall. Let's go ahead and place them down here and see exactly how many it's going to take. So we've gone ahead and we've placed 1, and we'll go ahead and take a look. It brought it down to 790 health from 1,000. We'll go ahead and place 1 more charge. We'll go ahead and place 2 more charges, so that'll be 3 total. And that would have got us through the wall previously, in previous iteration of Rust. Now we're at 370 damage. Let's go ahead and place 1 more C4. You'll notice, guys, it's now down to 160 damage. So if we go ahead and put 1 more C4 on that will get us through the wall. You may want to switch over to perhaps using melee weapons at that point in time. Soften it up with C4, but that's a substantial difference in terms of C4. So what this means, guys, is it's going to take more C4 to get through that armored building tier. Let's go ahead and take a look at stone, because stone is another common one that you're going to be using C4 on in the game. And in previous iterations, it took us 2 charges of C4 to get through a stone wall. Let's see if that has changed, if that's any different. So we'll go ahead and we'll throw 2 charges on there and just go ahead and take a look. And that, guys, it still was able to get through the stone wall. We were hitting it from the outside too at that point. In terms of how much damage it did, it still did less damage because it would have had sort of a splash damage effect, but 2 C4 charges is still enough to get through the stone wall, but the armor tier is going to see a substantial increase to the amount of C4 that is going to be required to raid. So guys, I hope this video was helpful. As always, I enjoyed making it. This is Fado82. Peace.